welcome to YOUCANIC. In this video we have a Toyota 2024 Toyota Camry, and we're going to use the YOUCANIC scanner to troubleshoot a couple of issues. As you can see on the instrument cluster there, we have a few warning lights. We have pre-collision system malfunction. We also have a headlight system malfunction. We have the pre-collision light on over there, that triangle on the left, TPMS light on, and let's see what other issues we have. So we're gonna do a scan on this vehicle, and we're gonna use the YOUCANIC scanner to look at the fault codes and what's present and what's causing those issues. So let's get started. So here what we've done is we have already selected Toyota and run a full scan. As you can see, of what a full scan does, it goes through all the control units they are on this vehicle, and it looks for fault codes. You can see lane control has one, air conditioning unit has one, and a few other pre-collision system has one fault code. So what you could do is you can click on the drop down and then enter that module. You can look at the code here, but you can actually enter that module and then read the codes, look at live data from that module, and do some cases do activations and bidirectional functions. But what I like to do is, because there's quite a few codes in there, I like to come to the bottom, click report. This report, you can email it, you can print it, you can save it. But what's helpful here is the fact that at the bottom of it, you have all the fault codes. Here you have the code. A lot of times you might have to do some more research on it. You have the status of it, if it's present, or if sometimes someone might say stored, means that it happened in the past, it's not an issue going on. Confirmed test failed, it's still an issue that's going on, so these need to be addressed. So present and history, that means it's happened in the past, it's still an issue right now. These kind of code that say history, those are history or store, are issues that might have happened in the past. The car is not seeing them as issues right now, but it still saves a code on that module. In this case would be the door motor control unit. So this code, you can simply just clear it, but this other one needs to be addressed. And as far as the warnings that we had on the instrument cluster, you can see here lane control module. It has lost communication with control, cruise control from distant range sensor, single sensor, or center missing message. So that is that sensor that mounts behind the grill. So it's losing communication with that. This car has been in an accident, so that module is damaged, so you're getting that fault code. Air conditioner, AC unit, there was no warning on the dash as far as this goes, but as you can see here, we have an issue. So the AC does not blow code. It says opening pressure sensor circuit, abnormal refrigerant pressure. So in this case, you would have to use some manifold gauges to connect to the AC system and see, check the low pressure and the high pressure side. But you can look at live data in here as well. So we'll enter that one here in just a second, as soon as we look at these other fault codes. So here, pre-collision system, lost communication with cruise control from distant range sensor, single sensor. So you can see it's kind of the same messages here, but there's different control units that are basically telling you, hey, the same problem, because they cannot communicate with that range sensor up at the front. And then the automatic high beam system, there is a fault code in there. So it says present and history. In this case, you have B12-4B. You would have to research that fault code and see what that's causing, because as you can see, there might not be enough information in some cases in here to tell you exactly what's going on. Some codes might need some researching. Door motor, that's an old code, but it says power window switch of passenger side door malfunction. Okay, so right now we're going to simply clear that one. It's not a big deal. Front recognition camera, lost communication with cruise control, same. So that sensor, the range sensor at the front, it's used by the input from that is used by different control units. So that's why you see a fault code in the camera that's up here needs input from that. Pre-collision system needs input from that. There's different modules that need that input from that sensor. That's why all of them are going to say, hey, I can't communicate with it. I can't communicate with it. So yeah, keep that in mind. Let's enter, for example, the AC control unit. So let's go back here. And by the way, like here at the bottom, you can save the report. You can hit erase, and that will go through all the modules, and it will clear the codes. In this case, only the ones like the door module that had a history or a store code, only that one would clear. The other ones are not going to clear because they're not being addressed. They're not fixed. So let's go to the AC control unit, air conditioner. Select that, press OK. Here we can read the codes. We're going to get the same code we saw there earlier. Let's go to live data. And then you can see all data. I select all, press OK. There's a lot of data points here: room temperature, ambient temperature, evaporate, solar sensor, D side. And you can actually see the values in here. Ambient temperature, fin thermistor, target temperature, solar sensor, engine coolant temperature, blower. Now this is all the data that the AC control module does monitor. So regulator pressure in PSI, regulator control current in amperes. There's a lot of data in here, so I'm just gonna kind of scroll through it, but this can be really helpful for troubleshooting when so number of trouble codes 1, and you can also graph the data here, and you can graph up to 4 data points. You can just select whichever one you want to graph and monitor. Let's go back in here. Let's go back one more time. Let's go under Diagnostics, select all. And see data. Just this is shorter, it's just for diagnostic purposes. But under all data, you had more data points there. Now you can go to active tests, and then you can activate different things like the blower motor, for example. It gives you some warnings in there. I'll hit select all. It's going to show some live data, and then it should give us the option to activate the speed of the blower motor. Alright, down here at the bottom we got plus, plus, plus. So what this would do, it would change the speed of the blower motor. You can see blower motor level 2, 12. You could hear the blower speeding up there. I'm not sure if you can pick that up on the camera, but so the camera, the speed now is at 31, highest level. So you can go minus. You can also see here like the current that's being pulled by it, temperatures inside, outside the car, and so on. So this is just one example, but under active tests, you can activate different things. You can activate the clutch relay. So the AC compressor clutch, you can activate that. Defroger relay, air mix servo. This is the flaps that mix the air, basically your cold and hot air, so that you can have the correct temperature in the cabin. You have air outlet servo poles and air inlet damper type. So you can like turn those on and off. Just make sure you follow those warnings in there. In the instructions, sometimes it'll tell you like what you need to do. You might have to have the car running or not running, and maybe sometimes the car has to reach a certain temperature. So you can see clutch, we can turn the clutch off, and it's turning. Sorry, I turned it on. You can see it on, and I can turn it back off. If we come down here at the top, you can see magnetic clutch is off, this could be good for troubleshooting. And let's go back. But so this right now we're under the AC control unit, but you can enter any of these control units. Pre-collision system, you can select it, you can enter it. You pre-collision. Now here we're going to look at live data for pre-collision. This is of course going to be different than what we saw under the AC control unit, because now we're under a different control unit, and that's the pre-collision. So I selected all. You can see shows total distance traveled, PBA request, VGRS, activation requested, warning brake request off, and there's a lot of data in here as well. And you know, some of these, like if you, let's say you're driving and looking at it, you can what you can do is you can record it, and then this will monitor live. When you can't go back to your garage, then you can go and replay the recording, so you can actually see the whole screen live. Let's go under active test, PCS warning. This is the beep, I believe. So let's see if that's gonna work, if we can activate it. In this case, yep, you can hear that. I can turn it on here and off, and I will show you. I'm not gonna exit the door motor. This had the stored code. If you read the codes, you can hit erase codes, press OK, press OK again. Now code's clear. This code clear because it's old, it's history, so that's why. But in some cases it's not going to clear if it's an active code. If we go into one of the other modules that have active codes, they're not going to clear. You're just not going to be able to until it fix the issue. In this case, it did clear. It's an old code. But that's it. That's how you can troubleshoot a Toyota. Here we have a 2024 Toyota Camry. That's how you can troubleshoot the various issues using the YOUCANIC scanner. And also keep in mind that under maintenance, you have a few maintenance functions. I'll go really quick over them. You can do things like ABS service, like you're bleeding the ABS. Electronic parking brake. This is where you release the parking brake, so you can change your rear brake pads. And you have oil reset and a few other settings that would apply to this car. Not all of them are going to apply to this vehicle, because some of them are for diesel models and so on. Oil reset, steering angle sensor reset, transmission adaptation, and so on. So keep that in mind in there. And then one last thing is you have the OBD-II function. This is just for diagnosing the check engine light. You know, if you're looking at live data, this can be, if you're interested in live data with regards to the engine, this would be a good place to come, because you do have a lot of live data in here. Go to live data. You have a lot of live data streaming directly from the engine. And so if you're trying to figure out like a challenging, you know, check engine light or intermittent check engine light, you know, what you could do is you could come in here and you can see how much live data there is in this case you do have a reference range, so you can see if you're within range or not. So 158, this engine cool temperature, you know, should be between 40 and 248. That's pretty high range. But engine RPMs, you know, if something is out of range, you can kind of see, you know, for example, the O2 sensors and things like that, you can see and just have a little bit of a reference point. And again, you could graph this. You can click graph and then hit merge graphs, and you can graph like 4 different things in here, you know. And this can be good for like let's say oxygen sensors. You can compare Yeah, upstream, downstream. If you got two two banks, two Cali converters, you can look at all the oxygen sensors. It could be good for like also ABS wheel speed sensors. You can come in here. You'd have to go under the ABS control unit to see the ABS wheel speed sensors, but you can come in here and you can graph them, and they should, you know, match. If they don't, if there's one that just keeps on dropping or just stays at 0 the whole time, that means you found which one is the bad ABS wheel speed sensor. But that's it. And there is more activation under really quick under the component test. In this case, we're under the OBD-II function, but if you go to the diagnostics and then you go to the engine, you'll see quite a few engine. Let me do this. I'll go to history, Camry, diagnostics. It's a little faster to go this way once you have connected to the vehicle once before. All right, go to diagnostics, powertrain, engine, press OK, and active tests. You should see a few tests in here, especially for the engine. You know, things like turning on the fuel pump and, you know, things of that nature. So it just takes a second here to communicate, but we should see that menu come up quickly. All right, so here we are under the engine control unit active test. You can see you can activate the purge valve, the vacuum pump, vent valve, you know, exhaust duty ratio, target fuel pressure, injection volume. You can change that. Cooling fan, you can turn that cooling fan on. Voltage of alternator, you can control that. TC terminal, EGR step position, fuel pump duty, circuit relay, electric water pump, you can activate that on and off. Single phase energization. There's quite a few. Actually, some of them I can see what a lot of them do. There's a few that I'm not quite familiar what they will actually do, so you'll have to research them, or maybe you already know what you're looking for. But check the cylinder compression and fuel, and cut the fuel injector volume. So fuel cut, press OK, select O, I hit OK, and what kind of injection we got. If we got direct injection, you can select that and then press cylinder number, cylinder 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is 4 cylinder in this case. And what you can do is you can turn that on and off just right from the scanner, so you can kind of test your injectors. Okay, I have a good injector or a bad injector. And that's it. Thank you for watching YOUCANIC, where you can be the mechanic.